So I will start with a light note. The amount of times you will hear gray area tonight, you will definitely be able to make a drinking game out of it, but only if you're above 25, okay? Don't take me wrong. Okay, so black and white, light and dark, right and wrong. Most of us in this room growing up have been told to do certain things certain way, to follow certain rules. But the thing is, black and white differs for everybody. So I am here to tell you that sometimes it's not only okay, but it is in fact good to question the norms and break the rules and step into your gray area. Now, what is this gray area? For me, a gray area is where there is a clash between my mind and my heart, a place where nothing feels completely right, neither does it feel completely wrong. Think of the gray area as a place where there are no labels, where there is freedom to pick based on your own experiences, and where individual perspective matters. So hello, I am Vidhi Doshi and I'm a content creator. And I know content creation is a very wide era. I go by the name Ramen Head Girl, and my specialty content is food. I curate recipes and I make cooking videos. Now, a few things that led me to this profession are, one, my love for eating and my love for food. Number two, that I love being in front of the camera, but only when someone isn't behind it. And number three is that I love making new friends and talking to people. But there's a slight problem. I have a massive stage fright and I'm currently shivering. So it's ironic that I stand here today talking in front of you guys, and it's really scaring me. So this entire area is also pretty gray, right? So how did I get here? The funny thing is that I broke my leg 7 years ago, and here I am today. So let me explain a bit. I will start with the 18th year of my life, okay? Now, after reading tons of true crime novels and watching 12 Angry Men on repeat, and after being told by my parents that I love to argue, and in their words, if you're Gujarati, you know, they call me the Jad Jevi Chokri. So I decided to pursue law as a career. Now, going forth on this journey, I knew exactly how my life was going to turn out. I was dating the love of my life who I was going to marry. I had 5 years of law school in front of me, and I was on track to being the Mike Ross to someone else's Harvey Specter. And I fell into my grey khadda. I had an injury so bad with like shattered ligaments, dislocated knee, and like multiple fractures. So much so I couldn't walk for months on end by strict orders. So I couldn't do the one thing when I came back to Bombay that I love to do, that is going out to eat. So I spent my time mindlessly scrolling through my phone, watching pictures and seeing pictures of this like epic paneer chili at this restaurant called Radha Krishna, if you all have ever been there. It's amazing. So I embarked on this journey of posting pictures of it on Instagram. I was also forcing my friends and family in this process to follow me forcefully. And surprisingly, I gained traction from strangers online, so I was really happy. So I knew I was on to something. So while posting pictures of food on Instagram, I realized something, that it did fulfill my soul. It definitely did not fulfill my hunger, because again, I was just here. So I decided to try cooking. Now, emphasis on the word try. Okay, now visualize this. I'm a 20-something-year-old, I'm propped up on a single leg, going to the kitchen like this, and I am going to cook myself a meal. Someone who has burnt numerous pans just trying to make Maggie, because someone who doesn't realize that ki salt, swad anusar padna chahiye and not, according to teaspoon and tablespoon measurements. So, and I decided to make ravioli from scratch. And how? By taking 2 dry lasagna sheets, putting the filling in the center, sticking it, and then putting it to boil, thinking that this will stick. Now, in my dictionary, this was a recipe for disaster, but it was the happiest I'd been in a long time. Okay, even though the ravioli was really bad, the joy it gave me was something else. So I continued on, decided to learn, and I still remember the first time I cooked an actual meal. Assortment of things. There was this like stir-fry broccoli and fried rice, not a basic, but like a solid white sauce pasta. So I was like, bas, ho gaya. But my parents were really confused. They're like, she is basically going to physical therapy still. She's in the kitchen all the time. She doesn't want to study because, mind you, I'm still in my final year of law school. So I'm here, I'm in this kitchen, and they were really confused about what was happening, but they were happy because they were being fed. So, like, one thing was getting managed. So imagine their horror when one fine day, hopping, skipping on one leg, I went up to them and told them, I want to quit law. I do not want to pursue it, I don't want to practice it, and I want to put pictures of food on Instagram, and I want to put my own cooking videos. Now guys, it was like, I had told my Jain parents, my parents are Jain. I went to them and told them that I'm marrying this non-vegetarian boy. So it was that bad. So it was like, they were fully like, okay, silence. Everything was silent. Okay. But in this while, I know that something in me had already shifted. That change had already happened. So the in-between time, my injury and my life decision, I was still going to law school. I was finishing my final year, studying for my exams, and this while I was also going to physical therapy and learning how to walk again. So in this time, I knew still what my life trajectory would look like. Okay, I wanted to do law. I did it. This was something I knew I would be great at. So what is this questioning in my mind? But on the other hand, there is cooking. Something that saved me in so many ways, something that challenged me creatively and quite possibly physically, something that was my first go at independence when I was still needing help to do the basic things, of life. So that was it. So it was my cooking adventure that had begun at that time. So I started learning how to cook, and this trajectory that I thought that made sense to me didn't make that much sense to me anymore. Now, it was this kind of conviction and rigor that I had never felt for anything else before. So now I had to sit down with this realization that on one hand, I had this life and career that I had paved the way for, and on the other hand, I have this pure love for food. Now, this was my first interaction with what I called my own gray area, my personal gray area. Now, imagine a world where MS Dhoni decided to stick with his railway job. He said that, I think this is a safe space for me. So in this case, a gray cannot always remain gray, right? You have to add your own colors to it. So here I was, fresh graduate from law school. I did graduate. And after I graduated, I was like, I had a heart full of hope and a zeal to learn. And I was like, I'm going to do this. But how do you navigate this gray area? And I'm going to tell you a few ways that I did it. Number one was to question the standards. What would happen if I had continued to do law? Should I have continued to do law? My reasoning was there. The reasoning was good. I had a steady pay. I would get a steady job, a great salary. I would be at par with my peers and my friends. And this was something at one point which I did want to do. The reasons were there. The reasons were good. But were they the right reasons for me? No. Questioning a set of precedents is not only done when you want to break something existing down, but it can also be done when you want to reinforce a decision that you've already made. Now, I'm at this crossroads of my life, and I have two decisions upon me. One, that I could choose law. One, I could choose content creation as a path. Had I stepped into this gray area and decided that I wanted to go back to law, my process doesn't become wrong. I am not entering the gray, and that does not become a waste. What it does, it only reinforces my decision that I was right all along. I knew what I wanted to do. I had a deviation. I could still cook, but my career path was law. But I didn't choose to do that. I went the second way, which again doesn't invalidate my process of going into the gray. You have to understand that when you set a certain path for yourself, it is okay to question that path once in a while when you find something else. Okay, doesn't make your process of questioning anything that comes in front of you wrong. It just reinforces everything that is with you. Okay, number 2, trust. Now, the only way I could navigate this wave of uncertainty was to trust. Not trust that I'd be successful, awesome, content creator, making lots of money and be famous, but trust in my love of food and cooking. Trust that when you take soft butter and spread it on a crisp bread, it will always give you joy. Trust that no matter how bad of a day you've had, if you mix garlic, soy sauce and noodles, you're going to have your safe space. That is my trust. My trust that my love for food will never fade, never fail, never go away. So I was deciding my life not based on a whim. I was deciding it based on a conviction, which made it so much stronger. Number 3, perception and negotiation. Now, my parents were furious. You can imagine this, because they've spent time, effort, money all over the years trying to secure a future for me. Because it's not something कि उन्होंने बोला था तुम लॉ कर लो, तुम लॉ कर लो. मैंने ही डिसाइड किया था कि मेरे को करना है. I want to pursue this career, and they were like, okay. Now they spent their mental energy and time in doing this. So needless to say, when I reached this standpoint in my life, they were very confused. They're like, what are you doing with your life? Are you going to be okay when your friends are making so much more money, hanging out, having and living this certain lifestyle and are happy, and you won't be able to join them only by virtue of you not being maybe financially stable? What if your choices are not as happy? Do you have something to fall back on? Do you have financial security? Are you going to be happy? There are a lot of questions that, that get raised at this point. So that brings me to perception. When you're at this stage in your life, it is very important to listen to the people that are closest to you. You need to understand the people that know you the best will also know how much and to what degree you would react to a certain situation. Now, let's say I am in my adrenaline saying, "Mujhe to ye karna hi hai, main karungi ye." They will support me, but if they don't question me, I will not realize the repercussions of what I probably am missing out on. In my parents' case, their concerns were completely correct, and I was only a few months away from finishing law school. So I did, and I listened to them. I negotiated with myself, thinking that their concerns held merit. I am going to finish my law school, and if I don't continue with this path, okay, I still have a degree to fall back on, because I did it for their sake, for my sake, for everyone's sake involved. So I finished my law degree, passed my bar exams, I had the license to practice, so much so I even got a job. I applied and I got a job just to show to my parents saying that I'm not doing this as a joke. I have the ability, I am not quitting. I can be a lawyer, I just choose not to do it. Okay, so that's perception and negotiation. And I know there will be every stage of your life where people are going to tell you, random people are going to come and tell you, even Bill Gates will have his people who are telling him, nahi, tune galat kiya hai. But Bill Gates also has a circle of trust, I am sure. So listen to your circle of trust, listen to the 360-degree perspective, and then make your decision. तुम्हें 1% negotiate करना, 0 करना, 100 करना, वो तुम decide करो. बस सुन लो उनकी बात क्या है. If they're making sense, hear them out. That's number 3. Number 4, adapt and embrace. So everybody's had Chinese food. Now tomorrow, imagine if a Chinese guy comes to Bombay and he's like, "Mujhe Chinese khana hai." So he'll get this plate of Manchurian and paneer chili in front of him, and he'll be like, "What the hell is happening?" Okay. So Nelson Wang, actually, he was a son of a Chinese immigrant, and after his father died, he was fostered by an Indian family in Kolkata. I think Kolkata, I'm not sure, but he was born in Kolkata, but definitely Chinese man. So adapting is a natural way of life. The way I adapted is I was anyway used to, I had a knack for researching, because as a lawyer you would know, you have to do tons of, all the time you're just researching, navigating the gray area and the law also. So you're reading so much, and I adapted that by, I started researching recipes, trying to look for multiple things that I could do. Instead of sifting through documents, I was basically getting myself ready to like cut and chop. Like that's how my muscle memory changed. So that's me adapting to the situation. To embrace is to accept something open-heartedly. And this uncertainty that was there in front of me, I was like, I don't know what my life is going to hold for me or bring for me. I had to accept it with open arms, because if I never try, I will never know what's on the other side for me. So the only way to do is try. Which brings me to my next point, which is action and reaction. Now I'm going to keep this short. I'm going to give you 2 examples. After I graduated law school, I was like, I need to do something. बहुत mentally research वो सब हो गया, अभी कुछ करते हैं. So I started applying for jobs at places, internships, and I was like कि I want to learn how to cook food. Please give me an internship. I don't know anything, so teach me. So I got an internship, unpaid internship at this place, and I was fired in 7 days. I was there to do their free का काम. But I was so bad that they were like कि तुम free का काम ही मत करो, तुम काम बढ़ा रहे हो, तुम चले जाओ यहाँ से. So 7 days, and this is a very renowned place in Bombay right now. I'm not going to say it. I feel bad, but and my life could have gone 2 ways in that. You know, I could have really shut down and be like, oh, मैंने पूरा life decision इस पे किया है, बहुत खराब है, this is really bad. I could have really like gone into a shell and gone back to law. I chose the other direction, which is, not to sound preachy, but I did have my bad days. It was scary for me. I didn't want to be fired from a job, but I did get fired. And that pushed me into an overdrive of trying to do better, trying to learn better. Why was I fired? Work on that situation. So that's my action and reaction. The second thing which led me to a good thing, the firing led me to getting a job at Tarla Dalal. And if you all know who Tarla Dalal is, I never worked with her personally because unfortunately she'd already passed away, but I did work with her team, people who did work with her, and it was such a great learning experience because I didn't have culinary background. I was here with people who made this iconic brand. I was here with nutritionists. I was here with like culinary school graduates trying to learn and being at par with them and learning things that were new. So my one reaction from one incident in my past led me to this great space for me in my future, and that's where we are today. And finally, it brings me to my last point, which is freedom from labels. Society will put labels on you because it is safe for them. Sometimes you will put these labels on yourself because you think it is safe to be inside a label. But what this does, it boxes us in. These labels and these adjectives, they define a part of who we are, but they don't define us like as a whole. Okay, nothing will define us. There's multiple facets to us. So I would really encourage you all to look beyond these labels and try to find these branches that really reflect your identity and reflect who you are. Example, Boman Irani. Okay, he had like a polytechnic diploma. Then after that, he worked as a waiter. He worked as a manager of a bakery. He was also a photographer and also dabbled in theater acting. Okay, at the age of 41, he's like, I am going to become a big screen actor, which he did at the age of 41. Today, we would consider that late, but it is really, nothing is too late. So at 41, he decided to be an actor. He didn't let anything that came before him and before that describe him. Okay, so this is something that exists. Now, I know that stepping into this murky, gray, and this uncertainty is very scary. Don't let anyone fool you and tell you that it is not scary, because it is. You don't know how your life is going to be. But this fear of uncertainty cannot drive you to live your life in a shell, live your life with some fear. So I would really encourage you all to, whenever in your life, at whatever stage you are at, if you find that one tiny trail, okay, one tiny thing that makes your heart really fulfilled, and it's like yahi hai, matlab tum koi bhi age pe karo, that this is it, then in that case, don't forget to take that chance, take that leap, and step into your gray area to make that decision. That's it. Thank you.